Come here a sec. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine one day you wake up and your voice is deep, mysterious, and manly, and suddenly people take you seriously. Every time you speak, people listen with rapt attention, and they do what you say without even realizing they're doing it, just because of how baritone, seductive, and commanding your voice sounds. If your voice sounds like Elmo from Sesame Street, then you've probably imagined this scenario a million times.
Elmo Wonder, even more!
Ever watch any of the Fast and Furious movies? If you did, you'll notice Dominic Toretto, played by Vin Diesel, is the leader of the pack, and everyone does exactly as he says, even when they don't want to.
This is Brazil!
Well, my theory is one of the reasons why people listen to him is his voice. Dom has that deep, manly, commanding voice that makes his crew respect him. And when he raises that voice even an octave higher, they fall over themselves to do what he says. Even people outside of his crew both respect and fear him when he speaks. And then there's Tommy Shelby. His slow cadence of speaking, his hold on every word, the depth of his voice just makes people respect and pay attention to him.
It would be an honor to work with you, Mr. Kimber.
But if you ever watched any of their interviews, you'll also notice that their voice doesn't sound as seductive and commanding. That's because when they play a character that needs to command respect with just his voice, they practice making their voice sound deeper. I'm here to tell you that you can do that too. So how do you go from sounding like Elmo to having that baritone voice like Vin Diesel?
I got family.
Stay tuned and learn how to transform your voice from a high-pitched voice to a seductive, manly voice. Don't say I never gave you anything. Change your mindset. The first thing you need to understand is that you can't sound exactly like Dominic Toretto. For one, he's a fictional character. The second thing is, you're pretty much stuck with the voice you were born with. Your voice is determined by the length and thickness of your vocal cords, which is influenced by the level of testosterone in your body when you hit puberty, or rather, when puberty hit you. So it differs from individual to individual. However, this doesn't mean that you're stuck with that squeaky voice forever. No. What kind of self-improvement channel would this be if I didn't at least tell you how you can deepen your voice? So there are tips and tricks to improve how you sound, but changing your mindset to understand that you can't sound completely different is the first step. Develop your natural voice. Remember when I said that the deepness of your voice was determined by how much testosterone you were hit with during puberty? I'm gonna go deeper into that here. Now you might be thinking, I'll just speak in a lower pitch when I need to command respect. Wrong. If you speak in a lower pitch, you can put too much pressure on your lower throat. Other than the fact that it's uncomfortable to do that and hard to maintain over time, it also makes it hard for you to be understood. What's the point of stressing your throat to sound deep if no one can understand a word you're saying? But you can develop your natural voice. Developing your natural voice simply involves finding and owning your own natural voice, which should be warm, expressive, and have even resonance that's easily understood. Your voice should carry well and be flexible. Don't speak from your nose. The mistake most men make is that they're speaking from their throat to project a deeper voice. But really, if you have a high-pitched voice, it's probably because you're speaking from your nose. To speak with your natural pitch and have a deeper voice than you currently do, you need to focus on the area of your face that includes your lips, bridge, and sides of your nose while speaking. A good way to know if you're doing it correctly is that you will feel those same areas I just listed vibrate when you speak. If you focus on these areas while speaking, your voice won't sound high-pitched, and you won't have to strain your throat in the process. Here's how to do it. Cover your mouth and say, Make sure you keep your lips closed and let your inflection rise on the second You should feel a vibration around the area I mentioned at this point. If you're not sure if there's a vibration, touch your fingers to your lips when you do it. That sound you hear when you do it is your natural pitch and tone. All you need to do is develop it. Now say then 1, two, and so on and so forth. Now check to see if your tone on the is the same as when you say the numbers after it. Keep practicing until your tone and pitch on the is the same as the tone and pitch you use when you say the number afterward. Breathe from the diaphragm. Now that you've discovered what your natural pitch and tone sound like, it's time to make it deeper. And believe it or not, you do that by breathing. Well, breathing properly. Is there a wrong way to breathe? Yes, there is. And that's why you sound like a 12-year-old girl. Most people, not just men, have been breathing wrong their whole lives. Let's do a small test to see if you've been breathing wrong. Take a deep breath in. Did your chest and shoulders rise? If it did, you did it wrong. If your chest and shoulders rise when you breathe, it's because you're breathing from your chest. And this sort of breathing is not only wrong, it also puts a strain on your throat. The right way to breathe is from your diaphragm. If you breathe this way, your belly will move in and out while your chest and shoulders won't move. When you breathe from your diaphragm, it adds power and depth to your voice without any effect on your throat. Your voice will have more baritone and resonance when you breathe the right way. Speak slowly. One of the easiest ways to make your voice sound seductive and commanding is by speaking slowly. You'll notice a big difference in the depth of your voice when you speak slowly in comparison to when you speak at a normal pace. No, I'm not saying you take years to speak a word, but just work on slowing down the pace with which you speak. Again, the character of Tommy Shelby is a great example. He takes his time when speaking. He enunciates every word properly, and he speaks with a motive, which makes his voice that much more appealing. Speaking of speaking with a motive, speak with a motive. When you speak, it should feel like you mean every word of it. Don't slack. Take command of the words you're speaking. Be confident of what you're saying so that people actually pay attention to what you're saying. This, coupled with your slow cadence of speaking, will make a huge impact in the way your voice influences others. Practice, practice, practice. Improving the depth of your voice is totally possible, but it can only happen if you practice often. You have to practice speaking at a confident, slow pace. Find your natural tone and pitch. When you feel like you speak everyday words in your natural tone and pitch, then you can add a little gravitas to it. And you do that by practicing how to breathe correctly. Going around the house saying, one, two, will sound silly at first. Walking around a shopping mall, practicing how to breathe through your diaphragm might lead to an embarrassing moment or two, but practice is the only way you're going to go from that squeaky, high-pitched voice you currently have to the deep and manly voice you want. Practice until your desired speaking voice flows naturally. Don't forget, some of the legends like Abraham Lincoln, James Earl Jones, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt had unique voices, but they were successful and commanding orators because they embraced and made the best of their natural voices. You too can improve your voice to gain confidence and leave a positive impression. Embrace your own voice and focus on developing it. Let me know in the comments down below how the tips worked for you. I can't wait to see you in my next video.